Geospatial Canada. To you, Kim.
Thank you, Alan. Yeah. Thanks. Sumit sends his regrets. Unfortunately, an emergency occurred, so he could not make it today, but I'm stepping in on his behalf as well. So I just want to, I want to thank everyone today for their participation in the Standards in Action. As a representative for Natural Resources Canada, we're very pleased to participate and help lead these sessions and these discussions, especially alongside ISO TC211 this plenary week here in Ottawa. We find today's discussions and presentations are really about moving things forward beyond theory to practice, showing how geospatial standards are being applied across Canada's geospatial infrastructure to enable interoperability, collaboration, and better decision-making. We appreciate everyone's participation and joining us today, both in person and online. And we look forward to, some stimulating discussions that may occur in between these sessions and afterwards, in between our break and our walking tour that will occur, and as well the evening gala dinner if you're able to attend. So thank you very much. This seminar is being held as an open session. I'd like to acknowledge those organizations that are definitely putting forward these open standards and collaborations. I'd like to acknowledge Carleton University, the Standards Council of Canada, the Canadian Mirror Committee to ISO TC211, and especially the TC211 leadership, namely Sweden. We also appreciate the sponsorship support from Esri Canada and the Standards Council of Canada that are here with us today. So throughout these sessions, you've heard from practitioners working across research, government, and operations. They've been sharing some really concrete examples of how standards are applied in practice. The intent is really to create a practical exchange amongst us and the international community and the Canadian community, especially with developers and implementers grounded in real world use cases. So a lot of the conversations we're seeing here today, we're really getting at the nitty-gritty of why geospatial standards matter. They're the information that provides us the where that underpins priorities like safety, climate action, housing, infrastructure, and emergency responses. So as demand increases in these areas, the speed and scale at which data must move must also increase. Standards are what make that possible, right? They ensure data and services are findable, accessible, and interoperable and reusable, whether across organizations, jurisdictions, or technologies. So when standards are applied consistently, they reduce duplication, improve trust in the data, and especially accelerate delivery. So this is even more important than ever in today's environment. As AI advances, artificial intelligence, the requirements for standardization, especially in geospatial information as a service, will increase at the same pace too. Today, so we're not just focusing on the standards per se in the abstract, but it's on the implementation, what works in practice, what lessons we can learn from those practices, and what can we reuse to operate at this new speed of reality that exists. So the organization that I'm an activity leader in, you see here is the Canada Centre for Mapping and Earth Observation, and what we do. So if you look across the Dow's Lake here, actually our building, the CCMEO headquarters, is on the other side of the water there. And we lead Canada's geospatial ecosystem, but there are many other leaders that we work with. We act as Canada's national mapping authority with responsibilities grounded in legislation, program mandates, including the Natural Resources Act and Canada's GeoConnections program that I had mentioned earlier. Through this authority, we increase awareness of the value of geospatial data. We help keep Canada at the leading edge of accessing and using that information, and we support its integration into government decision-making. In practice, CCMEO plays several roles. We act as a convener across federal, provincial, and territorial partners to coordinate the national geospatial information. We enable common priorities through targeted programming, and we serve as a center of expertise for geospatial and Earth observation data, their innovation and management as well. So importantly, we focus on not national scale work, standardized, accessible. Key thing is bilingual and data that's aligned with fair and care principles, providing direction through national strategies and policies. So what are those principles? Well, fair is the data side, essentially, the ensuring geospatial information is findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable by humans and machines, supporting users like analysts, software developers, AI systems, and decision makers across government and sectors. The care principles are more about the collective benefit, the human side. The authority to control, responsibility, and ethics complement this by centering on the people and purpose, ensuring that Indigenous peoples and respecting them as rights holders with authority, responsibility, and ethics guide how data is governed and used. So those are our key priorities with CCMEO and the federal government as a whole. This all falls under our leadership in the Canadian geospatial data infrastructure. It is a system on how geospatial information is found, shared, and used across Canada. It's not a single system or a database, but a shared set of data standards, policies, and practices that help ensure compatibility and interoperability. This support is critical because collecting geospatial data is very expensive. And the CGDI helps users discover that data that already exists and share what they've produced rather than duplicate efforts. So the knowledge of where the data exists and is available will prevent others from replicating or creating data that already exists in that system, right? The standards play a central and key role here. In an increasing connected digital environment with our cell phones and our computers and our GPS systems that are in our cars and such, the systems need to be able to communicate interoperably, right? And without common standards, those systems simply wouldn't work together as they are intended to, right? So CGDI really is about helping organizations keep pace and rapid with technological change that exists by building capacity, the human side, enabling collaboration and supporting adoption of new tools while maintaining trust and interoperability. So how do we do that? Well, CGDI is delivered to users through geo.ca, which serves as Canada's front door for authoritative geospatial data and services. Geo.ca is built on both OGC and ISO standards, allowing it to integrate data and services from multiple providers using common interfaces, such as web services and APIs. This standards-based approach is what enables discovery, access, and reuse across departments, partners, and the public in general. Strong metadata, as we saw in our previous boarding seminar and interactions, consists of governance, the interoperability of services. They're all essential here. They ensure users can trust what they can find and use, and ensure that is usable in their own systems without any additional translation or customization, right? So the outcome is simple, access, faster discovery, and broader reuse of geospatial information, supporting collaboration across government, and making authoritative data easier to use and practice. So with this QR code here, it should lead you to the geo.ca interface in both English and French. And you can search for that data that consists of the CGDI. As well, you can see there are many thousands of data sets and many contributors that always continue to increase as data is collected and added to geo.ca's front portal and back end. We have listed here some of the main standards. Some of you may be familiar with them, some of them you may not, but they really form the service structure and backbone of the portal itself. Now we'll go on to the future. Looking ahead, the mission of our organization and collaborators is really driven by the Canadian Council on Geomatics, the acronym CCOG. And they've developed a strategy of late that is to provide a shared collaborative foundation for how geospatial information is governed, managed, and used across Canada. So this collaborative geospatial standard strategy that has been developed is really the next phase of collaboration. And I give you the opportunity using this QR code to visit that strategy. It's really about modernizing policies and strengthening what is already in existence through interoperability and standards, and to reduce duplication through treating geospatial data as a continued national infrastructure. It also means clear roles, stronger partnerships, and sustained coordination across jurisdictions. So a key focus of the strategy itself are on the missions that you see here: to unlock geospatial data for science, services, and economic growth, to embed geospatial insights into everyday decisions for better outcomes, to safeguard and modernize sovereign geospatial data infrastructure, and then to empower and equip citizens in a skilled workforce for a resilient future. So those are the mission critical components of the strategy. You can visit the website and learn more about CCOG's interaction with the community, Canada's community, and it'll allow you to maybe engage and see some of the future practical objectives, which are to enable partners to deliver services faster, respond to emerging challenges more effectively, and ensure geospatial information continues to support Canada's priorities now and the future. So to close, standards aren't just the end state, they're the foundation for what comes next as we move towards a more intelligent, scalable, and connected geospatial system. And through CCOG and the collaborative geospatial strategy, the focus has shifted from alignment to implementation, and really making use of standards as an embedded component into how our systems work and how they're actually designed, built, and operated. So this next phase really depends on collaboration across government, academia, and industry and standards bodies, and on translating shared standards into real operational outcomes. So a great example of what that looks like in practice too, not only through this geospatial collaborative strategy, is some of the work that you'll be seeing on Friday. You're invited to attend through the Arctic Seminar, led by Dr. Peter Pulsifer from Carleton University, and Chantel here, who's been helping coordinate and lead many of the activities for this work. So I'd encourage you to join that open session if you haven't had the opportunity. The QR code there should lead you to the registration as well. Where you're going to see some of those components that were mentioned earlier about Indigenous engagement, principles of care and cooperation and respect for the data and holdings that exist in the North, and how we can learn from those experiences that are shared from Peter and his group and colleagues on how we engage in a more socially equitable way. So on that note, I just would like again to reiterate the thank yous for everyone attending. If you would like to learn more, I'm speaking on Sumit's behalf, but feel free to reach out to Sumit at this email address. Again, we appreciate all the contributions from the Standards Council of Canada, especially DND as well too, Department of National Defence, Esri Canada, DFO, Department of Fisheries and Oceans, Carleton University, and many others that I've missed as well too. So we appreciate your engagement, your questions during the week and today that are contributing to some lively discussions. And I think we're all together in a community here advancing geo standards in practice. So if you'd like to continue that conversation, feel free to reach out to some of the GeoConnections and NRCan members here and the TC211 community and the mirror community for TC211 community as well too, and our OGC colleagues and everyone to keep that conversation going. And as well, feel free to contact me or pull me aside on in between the meetings and we can continue that conversation. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.